Hey there, welcome to day 15 of our No Nonsense November. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, sharing a tool a day, a life lesson a day pretty much during the month of November to get ready for our next Get Up and Go 30-day free challenge starting December 1st through the 31st, of course, 30 plus days to make sure that we end the year strong. 2020 has been one crazy roller coaster ride for so many of us that I want to make sure that I'm doing what I can to set a strong foundation for myself and then bring other people right along with me. Because if I'm going to learn something, I want other people to learn and grow and make their life better too, right? I don't want to just be doing it by myself. So this will be the fifth and final Get Up and Go challenge, 30 plus day challenge for 2020. Not sure what the future will hold for it, but for sure right now, I know that the last one of this year will be the month of December. So join us for free on the Get Up and Go challenge page, realizing that the Get Up and Go challenge private group, in that particular group, you can go back and you can find all of the past challenges, all of the past in between times, because I shared life lessons, I think in unit 5, maybe. Unit 6 was the October challenge. Unit 7 is the No Nonsense November Now. So you can always go, if you've missed any and you want to find out, you can search by topic there. You can search and say, all about me or self-esteem. So let's hop into today's and we can talk about that another time. If you have questions, just hit me up and ask in the comments below. All about me means our lives are 100% all about us. Now, does that mean that we're selfish? No, but it means that our self-talk, our self-esteem, our self-worth, our self-confidence, everything has to be our primary objective. Our purpose on this planet is to experience this life as only we uniquely can. So your purpose is to experience your life on planet Earth as only you uniquely can. My purpose is to experience my life as only I uniquely can. Now, I'm on a path of, I like to believe, continuous improvement, continuing to become a better version of myself each and every day that I'm existing on the planet. That is my purpose. Now, I chased after my purpose and I read books and I did exercises and I did tools and worksheets and dozens of them, trying to find out what was my purpose, what's my superpower, why am I here? You know, the big questions that we ask ourselves in times of contemplation. And guess what? I didn't get a specific answer. I've never gotten this is why you're here, until the day that I realized I am here to continually improve, to continue to move toward the things that I want, to continue to create the life and the experiences and the things that I want. And that's my purpose. My purpose is to experience my life as only I uniquely can. My purpose is to become the best version of myself that I possibly can as a human being while I'm on the planet. And once I discovered that, I stopped looking for, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Who am I here to serve? Now, that's part of it. Part of my self-esteem and my self-confidence and my reason I do the things that I do comes from, I want to help and serve other people. I want to make sure that my imprint on the planet is positive. I want to make the world a better place. And that ties into, of course, first, how we feel about ourselves. It's about self-love, self-worth, self-esteem. Those things, and our self-talk and our self-care, those all are the foundation to our self-confidence. So I Googled, of course, I went online and I said, I'm going to do a little research into this self-love, self-care topic and see what comes up. And of course, I got 10 things to increase your self-confidence, 9 things to increase your self-esteem or self-confidence, what to do. And a lot of these things are things that we've already talked about, and the tools that we're using throughout the No Nonsense November can help us to, number one, better understand and get to know ourselves. I believe that the vast majority of people on this planet, and I would say maybe 1% of the people on the planet actually know themselves well, or even know themselves at all. I think there's varying degrees, just like anything else, but the vast majority of us, I don't even pretend that I know 10% of myself, and I work at it. I try to get to know and continually improve and be better and better at understanding myself and how I work and how I tick and what makes me do the things that I do, say the things that I say. And I've worked on it for at least 20 years, and I still believe that I don't even clearly know and understand 10% of myself. So how on earth could I ever go out and judge other people and assume to know anything about them? I don't. 10 years ago, I got on a judgment kick where I was like anti-judgment. It's like, I'm not judging anything. I'm not judging anybody. I'm not judging myself. And that was a big breakthrough because we spend so much time in our head talking about and beating ourselves up and negative self-talk. And it's just a waste of time and energy. So what are some of these ways that we can increase focus on ourselves, focus on us? Because if we don't love ourselves and know ourselves, we can't possibly give anything to the rest of the world. We have to know what we have to offer before we can give what we have to offer. We have to know that no matter how much we give away and how much we offer, we'll always have more because we're always growing and learning, expanding and becoming more. And the more we learn and grow and expand, the more we have to give and share with other people. So there was one that said the 10 things, and I popped through to the article and it never had the 10 things, which was super frustrating, but very, very usual for the internet, right? But what are some of the things that we can do to increase our self-awareness, our self-confidence, our self-esteem, our self-worth, our love of self? Number one, visualize yourself the way you want to be. Know and have a perfect vision of what am I like in all areas and aspects of my life. Remember, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, contribution, and relationships. What am I like, and what is my ideal? What do I ideally want to be like in each of those areas? So visualize that as if you've got it already. We talked about that. Affirm yourself. I am statements. We've talked about that. Do one thing every day that scares you. Now, I don't know if I talked about this or not, but 2 years ago, I did a 365-day challenge to do one thing every day that scares you. And I believe it was on my, I want to say, Pajama Grandma page, which means all of that content is still out there if anybody wants to go back. And if you need some fun, challenging ways to make yourself do things that are outside your comfort zone that scare you a little bit. And maybe we'll talk about that tool down the road, and I'll find those links. And if anybody wants them, I can send you those links and you can pop in and you can watch them. They're a couple years ago, but it's how I got over my fear of doing video, my fear of doing live video, my fear of doing a whole lot of things was I just faced my fear and realized I wasn't going to die if I did it. Then I took a step toward it, found out that I didn't die when I did it, and that actually became kind of fun. Now, I don't even think twice about doing live video. I just know that, are they going to be perfect? No, I gave that nonsense up long ago. But I'm not going to not show up because I'm scared or nervous. I'm just going to do it anyway. Do I judge and criticize my videos as soon as I push finish? Absolutely. I figure everyone is the worst in the whole wide world. But I want to keep getting better, so I'm going to show up tomorrow and I'm going to do it anyway. Because the only way we get good at something or we learn to do something and overcome our fear of it is by actually doing it. So do one thing every day that scares you. Question your inner critic. If you call yourself fat, ugly, stupid, that was klutzy, that was dumb, stop and say, well, is that really true? Am I really stupid? Am I always stupid? Is everything I do and say stupid? Well, of course not. So you know that your inner critic tends to lie to you, right? So question your inner critic. Don't just take what your subconscious and your inner critic feeds up to you as real. It's like believing reality TV. Honestly, you would be surprised how many people believe that reality TV is real. I'll never forget that the day I burst the bubble of some young ladies in one of our businesses. I was doing some work at the end of the bar, and they were talking about the latest, greatest reality TV show. And I was listening, and they actually believed that it was real, authentic, non-scripted content. And I'm like, I burst their bubble by reminding them that and saying something to the effect of, you guys know reality TV is acting and scripted. It's not real. And they were just flabbergasted that could possibly be true. And I'm like, okay, bye. See you later. Let me buy you another beer. So it's amazing how many people believe the things they see and hear just on face value. They don't ever question it. It's important to remember to always question not only your inner critic, but also the stuff that comes into your life and your world that's purported to be information or facts. Because almost nothing is facts, right? Almost everything that we experience is subjective and filtered through somebody else's lens, somebody else's filters. So make sure that we're considering that. Now, another thing they suggested was do the 100-day of rejection challenge. I don't know what that is. I didn't look it up. I figure it's probably that you do one thing every day for 100 days that will get you rejected. And again, like doing one thing a day that scares you, make sure that you live through it, which of course you will, because none of us have ever died from rejection unless we let ourselves, right? Set yourself up to win. So many of us define things and set ourselves up for failure. No matter how much success we get, our definition of success, the bar is so high that no matter what we do, no matter how successful we are, we cannot reach this. Learned this from Tony Robbins decades ago. He was telling the story of a really successful businessman in one of his seminars or programs who was making like $10 million a year, had beautiful wife and children, a couple of homes, had a super successful business and all these things, yet he told himself every day that he wasn't successful because he had defined success as he had to be making $25 million a year and all these crazy things. He had to have the perfect relationship, the perfect body, a certain level of body fat that was like more than professional athlete or less than professional athlete, all these criteria in order for him to feel like he was a success. So instead of enjoying and building on and being grateful for what he'd already achieved, he was always beating himself up for not being good enough, not being there yet. Perfect example. And the majority of us do that in some area of our life to a lesser extent. But question, what is your definition of success? What is your definition of gratitude? What does it take for you to feel happy and good and peaceful and successful? Because you want to set the rules and the definitions of things up to win. I had to change my definition of the word frustration. About 10 years ago, I had a sudden cardiac arrest because my entire life was one big ball of frustration. Everything tipped me over and got me upset and really stressed out and super upset. Not out externally necessarily, but internally, I was just this ball of crazed tension. And after my sudden cardiac arrest, as part of my healing and getting to know myself and improving my self-care and actually putting myself in the equation, because for the most part, I was just going through my life and going through the motions and taking my entire health and existence for granted, putting everybody else first. So I realized that I needed to reevaluate and change my definition of frustration. To me, anytime something wasn't exactly how I expected it to be or wanted it to be, anytime something didn't happen as quickly as I thought it should, I immediately went into frustration mode. And I was asking the WTF question about everything, like 10,000 times a day, and I wasn't doing it consciously. Subconsciously, WTF was always running through my mind, which automatically supposes that something is wrong. Well, how happy are you in your life if you are automatically looking for what's wrong in everything and everybody? Guess what? You're not going to be disappointed because the world is going to keep dishing you up everything that isn't perfect, everything that's wrong. And I discovered that coupled with not taking care of myself, coupled with a whole bunch of other crazy things that were going on in my life, was enough to literally shut me down, stop me in my tracks, literally stopped me in my tracks with a sudden cardiac arrest. So set yourself up to win by defining terms, defining things, and setting the rules for yourself up so that you can actually achieve them. Whenever we're defining and deciding on how we're going to do things and how we're going to judge and measure ourselves, we want to make sure we are only measuring and taking care of the things that we can control, right? If I'm setting a weight loss goal, for example, I am going to only set that based on the things that I can control. What are the things I can control? How much water I'm going to have, what type foods I'm going to eat, how often I'm going to eat, what I'm going to consume, what I'm going to do for physical activity and movement and exercise. So I can set up measures for those things. Either I exercised today for an hour or I didn't. Checkbox, yes or no. I drank 8 glasses of water today or I didn't. Those are things that I have 100% control over. And those are the things I'm going to measure my performance against. Another way to increase your self-esteem, self-love, self-confidence, self-worth is to help someone else, help other people. Get outside of yourself and do something for someone else. That is, number one, the most rewarding and fun thing that we can possibly do, but it also shows us that we have something to offer, we have something to give to other people, and that increases our self-esteem, our self-love, and our self-worth. Care for yourself. Self-care, again, something that I learned the hard way, you got to take care of yourself. If you're not taking care of your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being as a foundation, you will get a wake-up call. Something will happen that will remind you to pay attention to those things. Now, it might not happen to you, but it might happen to someone very close to you, or someone you know, or someone you love and care about. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself, because we have to have the energy to give value to other people, to help somebody else, to make sure that we're here to create the impact that we want in the world. What are some other quick tips and things that you can do to help increase your self-love and self-esteem? Stand and sit confidently. If you put a smile on your face, nothing will change your mood faster. If you're in an angry, sad, or depressed state, then to change your physiology, change your facial expression, change your posture, because that is something that you can absolutely immediately do and control to feel better about yourself and your situation, no matter what's going on in your life. You know, we've all seen situations where people have been through a whole heck of a lot worse than we ever have, and they still are smiling and grateful and looking for the gift in the event that's happened to them. Practice presence. Practice being in the present moment. We've talked about this as well. Build your capacity for energy. Find ways to make yourself more energized, more energetic. What things get you going, get you excited? Is it music? Is it reading good materials? Is it watching comedies or things that make you laugh? Whatever it is for you, find those things. I'm going to say I don't recommend stimulants from outside of you, artificial stimulus like energy drinks. I have the constant discussion and battle with my kids about energy drinks. They didn't have energy drinks when I was younger, so that wasn't an option. You know, I drank too much diet pop, but I had to give that up as well because it wasn't good for my overall well-being. But build your capacity for energy. Find things that energize you. Focus on your goals. Actually clarify and set goals. If you've got goals, one of the times, and the times when I find that I'm drifting or floating, it's because I am not being true to or focusing on what my overall goals and objectives for my life are. And again, we set goals in all the areas and aspects of our life. We work on them differently based on the priority and what's going on in our lives. But we have to have some long-range goals and things to work toward. Again, visualize yourself behaving with confidence. You know, we've talked about previewing and intending, thinking about what the future will look like and see yourself successfully working your way through it. Speak well to yourself. Again, that negative self-talk, I have not met anyone that has totally eliminated that from their life. I'm sure there's people and gurus out there that have, but it's one of those things where I'm constantly looking for ways and strategies to let things go and not speak negatively to myself. You know, we want to be our own biggest, best cheerleader if we want to actually achieve and continually improve and create the life that we want. And then we can ask for help from others. We can look for those gurus. We can look for those people that have incredible self-confidence or self-esteem. Depending on where you are, sometimes we need to get help. We need to get other people, other courses, other resources, books, or anything, coaching, to help us with specific areas and aspects of our life. Self-esteem and self-coaching might be one of those. I've had self-confidence coach and self-esteem coaches before to get over little stuff from my past that I didn't even realize was still impacting me. I needed to knock those out of my life and out of my system. So do what you got to do to take care of you, because you can't do anything else in the world until you take care of and love yourself. So that's our message for today. It's all about you. Would love to know your experience with this particular area and category. Do you think it's selfish to take care of yourself first? Do you think it's selfish to learn and study and grow and be positively impacting yourself maybe before other people? Do you think that's selfish, or do you think that's essential to your being? All right, have an awesome day, and I will be with you tomorrow with another No Nonsense November Tool of the Day.